Hey, I think it's kind of cool that y'all are doing senior day on the Saturday. Makes sense. Doing it now and everything, but it's kind of changed over the years, hasn't it? I mean, you're looking at none of these guys started their career here. They come from other countries. They come from other schools.
Yeah,
it's so different now. But I know for you, I mean, they're all Bulldogs. I mean, you're not. Does it lessen, I guess, the pomp and circumstance of senior day, I guess?
No, it's still significant. It's also unique in another way in that we've got 3 games left. You know.
Yeah.
I feel like most of these that I've been a part of are your last game, right, or at least your second to last game.
Mm-hmm.
But to have 3 left and have the SEC tournament, feels like we've got a lot of basketball ahead of us. That said, though, an opportunity to celebrate our seniors. Let's do it. Great guys and guys that have worked hard and represented us well and helped build the foundation of this program, of the rebuild of this program.
Right. And you look at the 7 guys that are going through it, and they all have been pretty significant contributors. I mean, even the guys that come off the bench in specialized roles.
I'm trying to think who's
Frank and M.A. would be at the bottom of the list, I guess, and the rest of them are all regular.
Yeah, no, but those guys have been as consistent as anyone on our team. You know, a great MA story, and we talked about this yesterday. I'll talk about this the rest of my coaching career, is that we put him in at a media timeout in Baton Rouge, and we were having a staff meeting separate from our coaches, from our team huddle, as our guys are sitting down. And when, while I was addressing the other coaches, you could hear a roar of excitement, 20 feet to my left. And I looked over, and that was how excited his teammates were that he was being put in the game, to help those guys. But it was the whole team. It wasn't just the other 4 in the game. And it just kind of shows you who he is, what he means to his teammates. Frank Anselm has been as consistent a worker, as consistent a culture guy as anyone in this program for 2 years. Both those guys started on and off last year. I want to say MA started most of our games, if I'm not mistaken. And then you've got guys that, that came in this year. Sunahara, unfortunately, has just been banged up all year, but he's been a factor for us. He's done everything that he's been called to do while being injured. And before he was injured, he really was playing well. And I feel like he modeled some of the things that we want to stand for as a program in terms of how hard he played and how unselfish he is. And he's just got a great personality. He's going to be a successful guy, just like those other 2. And you want to cut me off before I ramble, about all of them. But any pointed questions on the other guys?
Well, I just she wouldn't know it. Where would you be without those 2 guys?
Yeah, I mean, those 2 guys are 2 of our better players for sure. They've logged a ton of minutes. Thank God they've avoided injury, throughout this season, and they've been able to log those minutes and be the impact that they've been. And obviously, we're not sitting here as a predicted 5 seed in the NCAA tournament, and we're some wins away from where we were hoping to be. And we're not the only one with that stance, of course, in this league. But that said, we are improved, and we've been very competitive even in our losses, and those 2 guys are a big reason why.
When you look at Tuesday, obviously a tough way to lose that game. What response have you seen from the team just in practice, getting ready for A&M?
Great. Same deal. We've talked about it all year. And I would tell you, if we become a different team or didn't handle something like that, I'll be the first one to tell you we had a lousy practice yesterday. We were great yesterday. Guys were flying around, excited about another opportunity. And the senior day talk hasn't even come up yet, and we'll address some of that stuff today. But guys just like being in the gym. We have a team of guys that like to work and know that there's opportunities ahead of them. I think they're proud of the way that they battled, and they're still hungry to continue to compete.
Does that surprise you at all with this group? They're still hungry with just 3 games and so much, up in the air about what may happen beyond the SEC tournament?
No, I've said it all year that I'd be surprised if this group just stopped fighting, and we've had obviously a few of those games where you've got a lead and you see a different identity down the stretch and the incorrect mentality to finish. But between games, the response of this team has been fantastic, as good as I've ever been around. So not surprising that we had the practice we had yesterday. We'll have another really good one today. I'd bet on it. And we'll be competitive tomorrow, play hard. Our guys will get after it and hopefully play well enough, to be in it down the stretch against a really good A&M team.
I'm not looking to get you in any trouble, but I'm generally curious on the LSU game.
Yeah.
Like maybe a clean block by Silas when I actually played it back on the TV, and I don't know, Justin took a pretty good shot right there at the end. Did you?
Yeah, Justin
Did you
had
log a complaint or anything?
Justin had a shot at the rim, and Noah had a shot at the rim, and they didn't foul, and we fouled. What do you do? So we gotta foul less and hope to draw more fouls against A&M.
With A&M, they're one of the top rebounding teams in the conference. What is it they do that puts them in position to put up those kind of numbers?
Relentless approach, mentality. They refuse blockouts. Little regard for their bodies as they just attack the offensive glass as consistently, as aggressively as anyone in college basketball. So we've got to respond to that. We've got to match that level of physicality and intensity. And with all these teams, it's something we talk about a lot in our locker room. Especially pre-film and post-film. Like there's things to be learned from every program and every team in our league. And every team and every program has different strengths and different identities. And A&M does a lot of really good things. They offensive rebounded as well as anyone in college basketball. They've got an elite backcourt, of course. They sit down and guard you. They've got a unique style of defending you as well. They're very disruptive. They're really good. They're another team that I think is going to end up being in the NCAA tournament. They've had another good year.
You mentioned Dylan after the game, that offensive board he got to get Noah that second, that opportunity there in the game. I mean,
great effort.
And his, just the way he's come on, he got an opportunity and he's taken advantage of it. It looks like, and he's passed that few games. What did you do as far as confidence-wise? How's that helped? Do you think?
I think he's coming into his own a little bit with still limited opportunity. We haven't given him a ton of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
He's earned some and probably has an argument to have earned a little bit more to this point. I love his attitude, his work ethic, his consistency. He's the same guy every day. We talked about Frank earlier,
mm-hmm.
MA. He's like that. Dylan's got SEC length, athleticism, feel. He's a very talented player with a high ceiling, and I'm glad that he's been able to produce as a freshman a little bit. I'm glad he's, for his future, for the future of this program, and really for the stretch of this season for this current team, that he's taken advantage of opportunity.
And I know Amari's redshirt and all that, but how has he done in practice and everything?
Amari's been good when he's not banged up. He's had some stuff like Sunahara where if it's not one thing, it's another, and unfortunately for him, he hasn't been healthy very often this season. He's out right now currently.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, what is the challenge that Wade Taylor presents?
Oh my goodness. He's as confident a player as any in our league, in my opinion. And I don't know him, and I hate to put too many things out there. Where you're just not sure. But in competing against him and watching film, as long as he's in the game, regardless of the score, I think he thinks he can go get the next basket. He can go get a stop. Just plays it incredibly hard. Deep range, elite speed. And his teammates do a great job of getting it to him. And he's just a really good player that's won a lot of games, scored a lot of points.
Any other questions for Mike?
Cool.